into the Ballon d'Or conversation. I mean, 30 guys get put on the list, right? This is probably the biggest year of the Ligue 1's favorite in the upper echelon of those counting. Of course, with PSG winning the Champions League this year, that kind of assists their numbers there a little bit. Before we get into fifth, I want to give my Manchester United shout out to Scott McTominay. But unfortunately, I don't think I could put the Napoli midfielder onto a top 5 list. The fact that he made the Ballon d'Or final 30, though, very cool. But without further ado, at number 5, Tobi, we'll start with you. Who do you got for your fifth in the list of Ballon d'Or most likelies?
All right, so I'm going to build him up a little bit. Like you mentioned, PSG had a fantastic year, and I would imagine in the top 30 list is littered with PSG players. Probably the full first 11 would be in the top 30, and most people can argue that because they had a fantastic year with their coach, Luis Enrique. It was an amazing year for Paris Saint-Germain. I saw it firsthand. Arsenal was not able to defeat them in the semis, and definitely I'm happy at least the person that defeated me was able to carry the cup. But I think one player that kind of, doesn't really get the shout-outs that he deserves. We've watched him for many years in different clubs. He's played in Germany with Borussia Dortmund, played in Spain with Real Madrid, played in Italy with Inter Milan, and I'm going for Achraf Hakimi. At the end of the day, there are many fullbacks that will be able to get picked to be able to join this, and that's between Nuno Mendes and Hakimi himself. But I went for the Hakimi shout just because when I watched PSG, the importance that Hakimi takes in terms of holding the ball and being a leader for the defense, for the midfield, he's involved in every phase of play for them. And he's also a joy to watch because he definitely has that flair to be able to be an attacker. Like Hakimi is the kind of intelligent player that he can play in multiple positions on the pitch, but I respect him in terms of his journey. He's been a winner in different places. He's had a lot of experiences, and I think I'm very happy to see defenders getting their spotlight again. This was definitely a toss-up for me between him and Nuno Mendes, and definitely Nuno Mendes is probably my honorable mention, but Hakimi was the one I was definitely going to go for with 11 goals, 16 assists. I think that was a very good season for him. Probably one of his best seasons in terms of output, and obviously he finished with 4 trophies, all with PSG. But he's also part of a very successful Morocco team. He's won the African Football Player of the Year more than once. So definitely Achraf Hakimi deserves his shouts. So he's definitely my pick for the Ballon d'Or.
I love that pick as a former right back myself. The statements that you make there about his ability to play other positions, I feel like that's the duty of a perfect right back, right? You can play center back, you can play CDM, you can play right back, you can play right winger, like whatever your team needs you to do that rotates around that kind of area of the pitch. And he does epitomize that. My fifth pick also in the lines of a Paris Saint-Germain player, but I'm taking things up to the midfield instead of down on the defensive side of things. The guy who probably through this last season showed that in those big games was the best midfielder maybe and the most key midfielder, also part of a unit, but ultimately the face of that unit is Vitinho for me from PSG. I just ultimately, when you look at the way that PSG team operated, too much came out of their midfield, not to give them credit. I think in my mind, it was just sound. And already the words coming out that he will be the next Luka Modric. I mean, just kind of like he might already be that at this point. But if we're going to talk about midfielders that can win the Ballon d'Or, that's pretty safe company to be in with that one. Producer's pick here, getting a shout out for a new Raphinha in at the 5th spot for our producer Anu on this one.